Bilbao is the centre, but not the capital of the Basque Country. Vitoria-Gasteiz holds that title, though most people outside Spain don't know this. Bilbao is a bigger, louder and more famous travel destination. It sits on the coast, or near enough. It has the Guggenheim, the industrial history, and Pincho's bars that stretch for blocks. The city sits in a valley at the end of the Bay of Biscay, about 15 kilometres inland from the open Atlantic. The city stretches along the Nervión River, or more precisely, along the estuary that the river becomes as it meets the sea. The setting is constrained, mountains on both sides, a ribbon of water in the centre, and weather that changes by the hour. This geography explains almost everything: the industrial past, the architecture, the expansion, and the isolation. The city began as a port. In 1300, Don Diego López de Haro, Lord of Biscay, founded Bilbao at a bend in the river, granting it commercial privileges to handle iron exports from the surrounding mines. Iron was the foundation, both literal and economic. The ore came from the nearby hills of Triano, shipped down the river to the coast, then to England and the Low Countries. By the 16th century, Bilbao was one of Spain's main trading points, wealthy but always wet, perpetually under a layer of cloud and coal dust. Industrialization arrived early and stayed late. The 19th and 20th centuries turned Bilbao into the largest steel and shipbuilding centre in Spain. The air was thick with metal, the water thick with waste. By the 1970s, the city was collapsing under its own success. Polluted river, decaying docks, unemployment, and grey concrete blocks stretching up the valley. The decline was visible from every direction. The recovery that followed is now famous. Beginning in the 1980s, Bilbao launched a sequence of urban projects aimed at environmental repair and cultural repositioning. The Guggenheim Museum Bilbao became the visible emblem, but it was the final stage of a longer process. The river was dredged and cleaned, industrial zones relocated, new transit systems installed. The Bilbao effect, a term now overused in urban planning, refers to the idea that a single architectural landmark can trigger urban revival. Getting to Bilbao requires commitment but not heroic effort. Bilbao Airport sits about 12 kilometres north of the city centre, sitting on a levelled hilltop in a landscape that doesn't naturally offer flat surfaces. From the airport, a bus runs to the city centre. It costs next to nothing and takes about 20 minutes unless traffic conspires against you. Getting around the city itself involves a metro system that opened in 1995. The metro works well, it's clean, frequent, and reaches most places tourists want to go. The Basque railway network, Euskotren, connects Bilbao to San Sebastian and smaller towns throughout the region. These trains are green and white and move with a kind of determined efficiency that feels un-Spanish, which is precisely the point. Buses arrive from all over Spain and southern France. The Termibus station occupies a position near the football stadium, which tells you something about Bilbao's priorities. Bilbao has around 350,000 residents, give or take a few thousand based on the year and the methodology. The metropolitan area, Greater Bilbao, holds somewhere between 900,000 and 1 million people. The exact figure depends on which municipalities you include in the count. This makes Bilbao the largest city in the Basque Country by a significant margin. Bilbao dominates demographically, even if it doesn't hold official capital status. The economic and cultural weight of the city reflects this population advantage. Language shouldn't pose major problems. Most people in tourism and hospitality speak Spanish and English. Attempting basic Spanish phrases is appreciated. Attempting euskera will either delight or confuse people, depending on your pronunciation. The Basque Country runs on a different economic wavelength than southern Spain. Things cost more here, wages are higher, and the expectations are different. You notice this immediately. The Spanish state has always viewed Basque separatism as an existential threat. If the Basque Country leaves, then Catalonia leaves, then maybe Galicia, and suddenly Spain fragments into the former collection of kingdoms and principalities. Madrid cannot allow this, so the relationship oscillates between grudging cooperation toleration and outright hostility. The Basque Country now has extensive autonomy. It has its own police force, its own tax system, and its own education and healthcare administration. Basque children learn euskera in school. Street signs appear in both languages. Cultural institutions promote Basque music, dance, sport, and literature. The Guggenheim Museum Bilbao stands on the north bank of the Nervión River. Designed by Frank Gehry, completed in 1997, and commissioned by the Basque government, the museum was meant to do several things at once: attract international attention, redefine Bilbao's image, and serve as a catalyst for economic regeneration. It succeeded at all three. The building itself doesn't behave like traditional architecture. Gehry's design abandoned the box long before others dared to. The structure is composed of curved titanium panels, limestone blocks, and glass atriums, all organized around a massive central atrium. Inside, the museum holds roughly 11,000 square meters of exhibition space, divided into 19 galleries. Gehry arranged them asymmetrically: larger rooms for monumental installations, smaller ones spiraling off at odd angles. The permanent collection includes works by Richard Serra, Jeff Koons, Anselm Kiefer, and Louise Bourgeois, among others. The old town of Bilbao, the Casco Viejo, sits on the eastern bank of the river. For centuries, this was all of Bilbao. The old town was the commercial, religious, and civic centre until the 19th century. The 1983 flood, caused by the Nervión overflowing after days of heavy rain, nearly destroyed it. The water rose over 3 meters, sweeping through the lower streets, erasing shops and homes. Many residents here are older locals, but the area has attracted a younger mix since the 2000s due to pedestrianisation and cultural revival. The heart of the district is known as the Siete Calles, the Seven Streets, the original core of medieval Bilbao. At its centre stands the Plaza Nueva, completed in 1849, a neoclassical rectangle of arcades and yellow stone. It was built as a symbol of order after centuries of cramped streets. Today, it's full with Pincho's bars and bookstores. On Sundays, it turns into a flea market. Stamps, coins, old records, nothing precious, but everything familiar. Nearby rises the Catedral de Santiago, Bilbao's oldest church and its only Gothic building of real scale. It began as a parish church in the 14th century and became a cathedral in 1950. The bell tower and cloister are later additions, but the stone still holds the city's earliest identity. The Nervión is not a long river, but it is decisive. It begins quietly in the Basque Mountains near the border with Burgos province. The river's lower stretch is what defines the Bilbao metropolitan area. Further down, near the port, it stretches into its estuary, the Ria de Bilbao, where salt begins to mix with fresh water. The Vizcaya Bridge, often called the Hanging Bridge, connects Portugalete and Getxo at the entrance of the Nervión estuary. It was completed in 1893, designed by Alberto de Palacio, a disciple of Gustave Eiffel, and remains one of the world's great industrial monuments. It is not a suspension bridge in the usual sense. It's a transporter bridge, the first of its kind, a high steel frame 45 meters above the water. A gondola is suspended by cables and moves horizontally to carry passengers and vehicles across without impeding ship traffic. The system is counterweighted and electrically powered. It's an elegant solution for a narrow tidal river full of shipping activity. In 2006, it was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Artxanda is the hill you keep noticing from anywhere in Bilbao. It's the green ridge that closes the city on one side, always visible but slightly aloof. It rises just over 300 meters above sea level, which is not much, but because Bilbao sits in a narrow basin, the elevation feels sharper than it is. From the top, the city opens like a relief map, and the view is the reason most people go there. You can reach it by road, but that's missing the point. The Artxanda Funicular, opened in 19 1915 still climbs from the edge of the city centre. It goes from Funicular Plaza, behind the town hall, to the top in barely 3 minutes. It's a short trip, but perfectly efficient. 2 cars on a single track, counterbalanced by cable, moving in opposite directions. It feels like a miniature system, not a tourist ride. During rush hours, it even functions as public transport. Locals use it to reach the residential area and restaurants above. The red cars tilt slightly as they climb, and through the window the city tilts the other way, which is half the pleasure. Have you ever visited Bilbao or the Basque Country? Let us know in the comments. If you found this video useful, please hit the like button and subscribe to World Travel Guide.